Hey everyone, Kavemi here with another Reddit story. Today's is profoundly disturbing. It follows a woman who discovers that her mother and her husband have been having an 8-year-long affair, spanning even before the wedding. But that devastating lie is just the tip of the iceberg, as a tearful confession from her father reveals a biological truth that shatters her entire world. Settle in, enjoy the Minecraft in the background, and let's get into it. The title is My Husband is My Biological Father, and My Mother Encouraged Me to Marry Him. Now my life is a criminal case. I'm 32 years old, and my entire existence is a fabrication. My name is Alice, and 3 days ago, my world detonated into a million pieces. I know I will never be able to reassemble. I'm currently in a motel room. I simply cannot face either of them at home. My phone shows 247 missed calls, and I stopped tracking the incoming text messages hours ago. I haven't changed clothes in 2 days. There's a container of half-eaten sushi on the nightstand that I ordered yesterday and completely forgot about. Let me rewind to the precise moment everything collapsed. It was a Tuesday, a totally unremarkable Tuesday. I was at work leading the communications team at a mid-sized software firm. My supervisor, Dana, had just greenlit my proposal for the new advertising blitz. I was feeling great, successful. I messaged my husband, Adam, telling him I'd pick up Indian takeout on the way home to celebrate. He replied with a single heart emoji. That was it, just a heart. I should have recognised the anomaly. Adam always replied in complete sentences. He frequently made fun of people who used excessive emojis, but I was too elated about work to notice the lapse. I arrived home around 6:30 p.m. Adam's car was in the garage, which was strange because Tuesday was his climbing gym night. He never missed the gym. Again, I barely gave it a second thought. The main door was unlocked. I walked in with the bags of Indian food, calling out his name. No response. I set the food on the kitchen counter, and that's when I heard voices emanating from the upstairs, from our bedroom. My stomach dropped like a stone. You know that profound sense of dread when your body understands a catastrophe before your brain can process it? I tiptoed up the stairs. Each step felt agonisingly slow. The bedroom door was slightly ajar, and I could distinctly hear my mother's voice. My mother, Candice, was sobbing, saying something about how they couldn't continue this, how it was destroying her, how she couldn't even look at Dad anymore. I shoved the door open. They were sitting on our bed, fully clothed, thank God, but positioned far too intimately. Adam had his hand resting on her knee. My mother's eyeliner was smeared down her face. Both of them looked at me like cornered animals. "Alice!" My mother gasped, instantly standing up, knocking over a glass of water on the nightstand. "Darling, this isn't—" "How long?" I heard myself ask. My voice sounded alien, detached, robotic. Adam stood up too. He was pale. I had never witnessed him look so defeated. "Alice, please sit down. We must talk." "How long?" I shrieked this time. My mother started weeping harder. "Baby, please don't call me that." "Answer the question." Adam ran his hand through his hair, a clear sign of extreme anxiety. He does that when he's nervous. Did. Everything is past tense now. 8 years, he whispered. The room began to spin violently. 8 years. We had been married for 7. "Before the wedding?" I asked, even though I already knew the answer. He nodded once. I stared at my mother, at this woman who raised me, who taught me how to French braid my hair, who helped me with my geometry homework, and who hosted a surprise party for my 30th birthday. "You knew," I said to her. "You knew when you helped me choose my wedding gown, when you gave that toast at the reception about how Adam was the perfect man for me, when you encouraged me to accept his proposal." She couldn't even look in my direction. That was the breaking point. I bolted, grabbed my handbag and keys, and simply ran. I heard both of them screaming my name, but I didn't stop. I got into my car and drove. I didn't have a destination. I just drove until I found this motel off the freeway. That was 3 days ago. This morning my father called. Not my mum, not Adam. My dad, David. The man who raised me, who taught me to ride a bicycle, who walked me down the aisle, and who still called me his sweetheart, even at 32. His name flashed on my screen, and I almost rejected the call, but a flicker of instinct made me answer. "Alice," he said, and his voice was completely ravaged. "I need to see you right now. There's something you must know." "Dad, I can't—" I can't deal with this right now. Alice, please, this is critical. This is about your mother and Adam, but it's worse than you can imagine. Worse than I can imagine. How could anything be worse? But there was something in his tone, a sound of absolute terror that made my blood run cold. I gave him the motel address. He arrived 40 minutes later. He looked like he had aged a decade since I last saw him at Sunday brunch 2 weeks ago. His eyes were bloodshot. His hands were visibly shaking as he sat on the edge of the bed. Dad, what is happening? He pulled an envelope from his jacket pocket. His hands trembled so badly he nearly dropped it. Yesterday, he began, his voice cracking violently. Yesterday I confronted your mother about Adam, about the affair, and she broke down. She told me everything. I don't understand, Alice. 25 years ago, your mother and I were trying desperately to have a baby. We tried for 3 years. Nothing worked. We saw specialists, did all the tests. The problem was me. I can't have children. My heart started pounding against my ribs. What are you telling me? We were planning to do IVF. We talked about adoption, but your mother was severely depressed. She was working as a real estate agent, and she met this young man, a 24-year-old client looking for his first apartment. His name was Adam. No, Dad, stop, please stop. She had an affair with him. Just once, she said. One single time. She felt guilty immediately. Ended it. Told him never to contact her again. And then 6 weeks later, she found out she was pregnant. The room began to spin again. I thought I was going to be sick. She never told me, he continued. She let me believe you were mine. We were so ecstatic. I was so happy. And then 3 years ago, Adam showed up at an open house she was hosting. I couldn't breathe. My chest felt tight, as if someone was sitting on it. She said he recognised her instantly, started showing up at her work, said he wanted to know his daughter, wanted to be a part of your life. She kept telling him no, but then he orchestrated a meeting with you. The coffee shop, I whispered. 5 years ago, I met Adam at that coffee shop near my office. He spilled coffee on my laptop. Dad nodded slowly. It wasn't an accident. He planned it. Your mother found out a week later when he called her and told her. Said he was going to date you, fall in love with you, and there was nothing she could do about it because telling you the truth would destroy everything. I ran to the bathroom and vomited everything. The small amounts I had eaten in the last 3 days. I don't know how long I was in there. When I stumbled out, my dad was crying silently, his face buried in his hands. He blackmailed her, Dad explained. Told her if she tried to stop the relationship or tell you the truth, he'd expose everything. He'd tell me, destroy our family. So she gave in. She started sleeping with him again to keep him quiet, to try to maintain some control over the situation. Why didn't she just tell me? I sobbed. Why didn't she just tell me the truth from the beginning? She was scared. And then when you got engaged, she tried to stop it. Don't you remember? She tried to convince you to wait, to slow down, but you were so in love. You told her Adam was the one, and she couldn't find the words. She encouraged you to marry him because she thought that was what you wanted, and she couldn't see a way out. I felt like I was drowning in an ocean of filth. Oh my God, I'm married to my biological father. Dad, I've been sleeping with my father for 5 years. We tried to have a baby last year. We were trying to have a baby. Dad stood up and tried to embrace me, but I pushed him away forcefully. Did you know? I demanded. Did you know any of this? No, I swear. To you I found out yesterday. Your mother confessed everything. She couldn't take it anymore. The guilt was consuming her. She wanted to end things with Adam, and he threatened to tell you himself. So she told me first. I sank to the floor, just collapsed. Everything I thought I knew about my life was a lie. Every memory was contaminated. Every single moment was fake. My dad knelt beside me. I'm still your father, he said. Biology doesn't change that. I raised you. I love you. You're my daughter. I wanted so desperately to believe him, to find solace in those words, but all I could focus on was Adam, about how he had manipulated every step, how he had intentionally destroyed my life. He's a monster, I said. Yes, Dad agreed. He is. I need to confront him. I need to... Alice, no. Stay away from him. Please let me handle this. But I wasn't listening anymore. I was already grabbing my keys. My dad tried to stop me, but I was too fast. I ran to my car and drove straight to my house. Our house. The home Adam and I bought 2 years ago. His car was there, so was my mother's. I used my key to open the door and walked in. They were in the living room on the sofa. They sprang apart when they saw me. "Alice," Adam said, standing up. "Let me explain." "You knew," I screamed. "You knew you were my father and you dated me anyway. You married me. What kind of sick person does that?" My mother was crying again. Always crying. "Alice, please." "Shut up," I said to her. "Just shut up. You're just as guilty. You could have stopped this at any point. You could have told me. You could have protected me from him. But you didn't. You let this happen." Adam took a step toward me and I violently backed away. "Don't come near me. Don't ever come near me again." "Alice, I know this is difficult to understand. Hard to understand. You groomed me. You manipulated me. You blackmailed my mother. You destroyed my entire family. For what? What was the point of all this?" For the first time, I saw a flicker of something cold and terrifying in his eyes. "You want to know the truth?" he said, his voice changing, becoming hard. "Your mother ruined my life. I was 24 years old. I had my whole life ahead of me and she seduced me. She was older, married. She pursued me. And when she got pregnant, she threw me away like garbage, told me to never contact her again, that you weren't my responsibility. So you stalked me. You married your own daughter to get revenge. I wanted to be part of your life. I wanted to know you. And when I saw how successful you were, how happy your family was, how your father got to be your dad instead of me, I wanted to take something from her. I wanted her to feel what I felt." I stared at him. This man I thought I loved. This man I'd shared my life with. He was a stranger. Worse than a stranger. He was a predator. "You're insane," I whispered. "Maybe," he said. "But you fell in love with me anyway. You chose me. You married me. That's not on me. That's on you." I slapped him hard. My palm connected sharply with his cheek, and the sound echoed through the house. He didn't even flinch. He just smiled as if he'd won. I turned to my mother. "How much did he pay you?" She looked confused. "What?" "To keep quiet. To keep sleeping with him." "How much?" "Alice. There was no money. He threatened to destroy everything. You could have told Dad. You could have told me. At any point in the last 5 years, you could have stopped this, but you didn't. You know why? Because you were enjoying it. You wanted him too." She shook her head violently. No, that's not true. I hated every second." "Liar," I said. "You're a liar. Both of you. You deserve each other." I walked out, got into my car, drove back to the motel, and that's where I've been for the past 12 hours, trying to figure out what to do next. I called a lawyer this morning, explained the horrific situation. She was silent for a long time after I finished. Then she said, "I've been practicing family law for 20 years, and I've never heard anything remotely like this." She's filing for an annulment. Apparently, marriage to a biological parent is automatically void, as if it never existed. Which is exactly what I want. I want to erase every single moment of the past 5 years. But here's the thought that has been eating at me, the thing I can't suppress. Last year, when we were trying to conceive, I had a miscarriage at 8 weeks. I was shattered. Adam held me while I cried, told me we'd try again, that we'd have a beautiful family someday. Now I can't stop wondering, was that baby okay, or was something fatally wrong with it because of what we were? I called a genetic counsellor and left a message. I need to know. I need to understand what happened to that child. My phone is ringing again. It's my dad. He's been messaging me every hour, asking if I'm okay, telling me he loves me, that he's there for me. Part of me wants to see him, to let him hug me, to pretend for just one moment that everything is fine. But everything isn't fine. Everything will never be fine again. Because here is what nobody warns you about when you discover your entire life is a lie. It's not just the momentous occasions that are ruined. It's everything. It's every memory, every photograph, every holiday, every birthday. Every single moment of my 32 years on this earth is now contaminated with this knowledge. When I was 16 and Adam would have been 40, where was he? What was he doing? Was he thinking about me? Was he already formulating this plan? When I graduated university, when I got my first job, when I moved into my first apartment, was he watching, waiting? The coffee shop meeting 5 years ago wasn't chance. was calculated. He orchestrated everything. Every single moment of our relationship was built on a foundation of lies. And my mother, God, my mother, she watched me fall in love with my own father and said nothing. She helped me pick out my wedding dress. She walked me down the aisle alongside Dad. She gave a toast about how Adam was perfect for me. How do you possibly forgive something like that? How do you move past it? I don't believe you do. There's a bottle of bourbon on the desk that I purchased from the liquor store down the street. I've been staring at it for an hour. I don't typically drink alone. But then again, I don't usually find out my entire existence is built on incest and deceit. I pour myself a glass, then another, then another. My phone rings. Unknown number. I almost don't answer, but I'm drunk now and feeling reckless, so I pick up. Alice. It's a woman's voice. Unfamiliar. Who is this? My name is Beth. I'm Adam's ex-wife. I sit up sharply. What? I saw your wedding announcement online years ago. I've been following your life on social media. I know that sounds intrusive, but I had to make sure you were all right. And then yesterday I saw your mother's Facebook post. She wrote something cryptic about secrets and lies, and I knew he'd done it again. Done what again? My heart is pounding. Alice, you're not the first. You're not the first daughter. The room starts spinning violently. What are you talking about? Adam and I were married for 3 years. We had a daughter, Maya. She's 19 now. When Maya was 15, I caught Adam. I caught him grooming her. Inappropriate text messages, comments about her body. I took Maya and left immediately. Got a restraining order. Full custody. I can't breathe. Where's Maya now? Safe. She's in college, in therapy. She'll never be the same, but she's alive and she's safe. When I heard he'd remarried, I tried to warn you. I sent you a Facebook message 3 years ago. Did you get it? I tried desperately to remember. 3 years ago, right after Adam and I got married. I received so many messages and friend requests during that time. I don't remember. It's okay, he probably deleted it. He had access to your accounts, didn't he? He did. We shared passwords. He said it was about trust, about having nothing to hide. Oh, God. Beth, there's something you need to know about Adam and me, about who he really is to me. I told her everything. The affair with my mother, the biological connection, the blackmail, all of it. She was silent for a long moment. Then she said, "That monster, that absolute monster. Alice, you need to go to the police. This is beyond a civil matter. This is criminal. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I have the strength." You do. You have to, because if you don't, he'll do this to someone else. He'll destroy another life, another family. She was absolutely right. I knew she was right. We talked for another hour. She told me everything about her marriage to Adam, how he had been charming initially, attentive, perfect. And then slowly the mask started slipping. The control, the manipulation, the way he isolated her from her friends and family. It was the exact same pattern he'd used with me. I just hadn't seen it because I was too close, too in love, too blind. After I hung up with Beth, I sat in the dark motel room for a long time, thinking, processing, planning. Then I called the police. The detective who answered was named Sarah Jones. She listened to my entire story without interruption. When I finished, she said, "Ms. Alice, I'm going to need you to come down to the station. We need to get an official statement, and we need to discuss what charges we can pursue." "What kind of charges?" "Fraud, coercion, depending on the circumstances and the timeline, possibly worse. But I won't know until we speak in detail." I drove to the police station at 11 p.m. Detective Jones was waiting for me. She was younger than I expected, maybe early 40s. She had kind eyes. We sat in an interview room, and I recounted everything again, every agonising detail. She took notes, asked probing questions. She was professional, but empathetic. When I finished, she sat back in her chair. "This is one of the most disturbing cases I've encountered. I'm going to be honest with you. Prosecution is going to be complicated. The relationship was technically consensual, even though it was based on lies and manipulation. But the fraud aspect, the blackmail of your mother, that's where we have leverage. What about the marriage? It's illegal, right? Marriage to a biological parent. It is. But proving that Adam knew about the biological connection, is going to be tricky. It'll be his word against your mother's. She'll testify. I'll make sure she testifies. Detective Jones nodded. I'll need to speak with her and with your father, and we'll need DNA tests to confirm the biological relationship. DNA tests. Physical proof that the man I married is my father. The man I loved. The man I slept with. I felt nauseous again. There's something else, I said. He has an ex-wife and a daughter. He was inappropriate with his daughter when she was a minor. The ex-wife got a restraining order. Detective Jones leaned forward instantly. Do you have her contact information? I gave her Beth's number. She'll talk to you. She wants to help. This changes things. If there's a pattern of behaviour, if there are other victims, we can build a stronger case. Other victims. That's what I was. A victim. It didn't feel real. I still felt like I should have known, should have seen the signs, should have protected myself. But how do you protect yourself from someone who's been planning to destroy you since before you even knew they existed? Detective Jones sent me home. Well, to my motel, around 2 a.m. She said they'd start investigating, immediately. That they'd bring Adam in for questioning. That I should stay somewhere secure and not contact him or my mother. I couldn't sleep. I just lay in the motel bed, staring at the ceiling, watching the shadows from car headlights move across the walls. At 7 a.m, my phone rang. It was my dad. Alice, the police were just here. They took your mother in for questioning. I know, Dad. I went to them last night. He was quiet for a moment. Good, that's good. She needs to face consequences for what she did. What about you? Are you okay? He laughed, but there was no humour in it. No, I'm not okay. My wife had an affair with her daughter's husband, who is also her daughter's biological father. My entire marriage was based on a lie, so no, Alice, I'm not okay, but I'm worried about you. I'm at a motel, I'm safe. Come home, come to the house. Your real home, where you grew up. You shouldn't be alone right now. Part of me longed to, wanted to regress to my childhood bedroom and pretend I was 15 again, and none of this had ever happened. But I couldn't. That house was full of memories too. Memories that were now completely corrupted. I can't, Dad. Not yet. Okay, but I'm here. Whenever you're ready, I'm here. After we hung up, I finally managed to fall asleep for a few hours. When I woke up, it was afternoon, and my phone was saturated with messages. One from my lawyer. The annulment papers were ready. One from Detective Jones. They'd arrested Adam. He was being charged with fraud and coercion. They were also investigating the situation with his ex-wife's daughter. One from Beth, thanking me, saying that Maya wanted to talk to me if I was ready. One from my boss, Dana, asking if I was okay, if I needed extended time off. Someone had leaked the story to the local news. I opened my laptop, searched my name, and there it was. Headlines everywhere. Woman discovers husband is her biological father. Mother's affair leads to decades-long deception. Tech executive embroiled in incest scandal. They had my name, my photo, everything. I slammed the laptop shut, threw it across the room, and watched it strike the wall and crack. This was it. This was my life now. Public humiliation layered on top of everything else. I wanted to vanish, to legally change my name and move to another country, and start over where no one knew me. But Detective Jones's words kept echoing in my head. If you don't come forward, he'll do this to someone else. I thought about Maya, about Beth, about whatever other women might be out there, trapped in Adam's web. I couldn't let that happen. So I called Detective Jones back. I want to do an interview. I want to tell my story, publicly. Are you sure that's an immense amount of pressure? I'm sure. People need to know what he is, what he's capable of. She connected me with a reporter, a woman named Carla Dean from a major news network. Carla called me that evening. Alice, I want to thank you for being willing to speak out. I know this must be incredibly difficult. It is, but it needs to be done. We scheduled the interview for 2 days later. It would be recorded and aired during prime time. Carla warned me that it would inevitably go viral, that people would have strong opinions, that some might unfairly blame me. I didn't care anymore. Let them blame me. Let them say whatever they wanted. The truth had to be revealed. The night before the interview, my mother called. It was the first time I'd spoken to her since the confrontation. Alice, she said, and her voice was broken, destroyed. Please talk to me. I need to explain. There's nothing left to explain. I was scared. I was so scared, and I made terrible choices. But you have to believe me. I never wanted this. I never wanted any of this. You had so many chances to stop it, to tell the truth, to protect me. And you chose him every single time. You chose him over me. That's not true. I was trying to protect you. If I told you the truth, it would have destroyed you. And this didn't. Finding out the way I did, that was better. She was crying again, always crying as if her tears could somehow undo the damage. I don't know what to say, she whispered. Then don't say anything. Just testify against him. Tell the police everything. Help them put him away. That's the only thing you can do for me now. I will. I promise I will. Good. Goodbye, Mum. I hung up before she could respond. I changed my number immediately afterward. I didn't want to hear from her again. Not now. Maybe not ever. The interview with Carla Dean took place in a studio downtown. They did my makeup, put me in professional clothes, made me look presentable, even though I felt completely fragmented inside. Carla was kind, professional. She asked the difficult questions but gave me space to answer, to tell my story in my own words. When it aired 3 days later, the public response was overwhelming. My phone, my new number, somehow got leaked and people were calling. Some were supportive, some were cruel, some were just morbidly curious. The story went instantly viral. International news outlets picked it up. I was everywhere. People were creating videos about it, Reddit threads, social media discussions, reaction videos. My name was trending for the most horrific possible reason. But something else also happened. Other women started coming forward, women who had dated Adam in the past, women who had experienced his manipulation, his control, his cruelty. One woman, Jessica, said Adam had convinced her to cut off her entire family, that he had isolated her completely before she finally managed to escape. Another, Melissa, said he had drained her bank accounts, persuaded her to put everything in his name, then abandoned her with nothing. There were 5 women in total, 5 victims besides me and Maya. Detective Jones called me with updates. The charges against Adam were mounting: fraud, coercion, financial abuse, and they were building a case for his predatory behaviour with Maya too. He's going away for a long time, she told me. You helped make that happen. But I didn't feel victorious. I just felt empty, hollowed out, as if someone had scooped out everything inside me and left just a shell. A month later, Adam took a plea deal. 15 years in prison. He'd be nearly 60 when he was released. My mother testified against him, told them everything about the blackmail, the affair, all of it. She was granted immunity in exchange for her cooperation. My dad, the man who raised me, filed for divorce. I didn't blame him. How could he possibly stay married to her after everything? He called me after the divorce was finalised. I want you to know, he said, that you're still my daughter. Biology doesn't matter. You'll always be my sweetheart. I cried for the first time in weeks. I cried real tears. Not angry tears or frustrated tears. Just sad, grieving tears. I love you, Dad, I said. I love you too, sweetheart. It's been 6 months now since everything collapsed. I'm living in a new city, new job, new name. I legally changed it. I'm someone else now. Someone without that past. I'm in therapy twice a week, meticulously working through everything. The trauma, the betrayal, the profound violation of it all. My therapist says healing isn't linear, that some days I'll feel fine and some days I'll feel like I'm drowning. She's right. Today's an okay day. I had coffee with a new friend this morning, someone who doesn't know my story, who just knows me as the person I am now. We talked about normal things, her job, her apartment search, the new deli downtown that has incredible sandwiches. For an hour I felt almost normal, almost like a regular person with a regular life. But then I came home and saw the news alert on my phone. Adam's appeal was denied. He'd be serving his full sentence. And just like that, I was back there, back in that motel room when my dad told me the truth, when my entire world collapsed. I don't know if I'll ever fully move past this. How do you recover from something so profoundly destructive? How do you trust anyone again when the two people who were supposed to protect you, your mother and your husband, were the ones who annihilated you. I don't have answers. I just have today and tomorrow. And the day after that. One day at a time. That's what my therapist says. One day at a time. Sometimes I reflect on what my life could have been if Adam had never found my mother again. If she had told the truth from the beginning. If I'd never met him at that coffee shop. But then I remember that coffee shop meeting wasn't fate. It wasn't chance. It was calculated, planned, orchestrated. There was never a version of this story where I won, where I came out unscathed. Adam made sure of that. The moment he decided to pursue me, he stole my life. My past, my present, my future. All of it gone. But here is the detail he didn't account for. I'm still here. Broken, damaged, changed forever, but still here. And every day that I wake up and choose to keep going is a day that he loses. Every moment of happiness I manage to find is a victory he can't take away. It's not much, but it's something. That wraps up today's profoundly shocking Reddit story. Thanks for hanging out with me while we processed Alice's journey through unimaginable betrayal and her fight for justice. Let me know in the comments what you thought of her mother's ultimate choice. Was testifying against Adam enough to earn forgiveness? And stick around for more stories with the usual Minecraft vibes in the background. I'll see you in the next one.